Oh, United fans, welcome back to MUD. This is Manchester United Diehards. For those of you who haven't subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe to the channel. Now, my name is Ephraim Juma. I'm here with Seth, and today we want to show you the Michael Carrick formation and tactics that he uses to win his games. Of late, Michael Carrick has had a very good winning rate at Manchester United as an interim manager, and most of you have been wondering how he's winning his games, and today we are going to show you exactly how Michael Carrick has been winning his games using this tactical board right here. And these red pieces represent Manchester United, and these green or yellow pieces represent any other team. It might be Manchester City, our very good friends Arsenal, our brothers Chelsea, and any other team that we play against that, of course, we've been terrorizing. So listen to Seth. He's going to give you the tactical analysis of Michael Carrick. Let's go ahead, Seth.
So as I don't know if you people are realizing that United are currently having a decent share of possession at the end of every game lately. So the main reason is because not that Michael Carrick embraces the possession style of play, but I think he's a little bit, not even a little bit, I think he's so flexible with his tactics. He knows when to counter-attack and when to hold on to the ball and when to try and open laying low teams like Aston Villa. When we came across Aston Villa, it was very hard. Then Bournemouth in the first half and the second half. So I'm just going to show you an example of how we are able to maintain the ball against good pressing teams like Arsenal and Manchester City and Liverpool. So this is how Michael Carrick lines up, and then I'm also going to show you why it was so hard for Ruben Amorim to maintain possession while being pressed in the Premier League when he just came into United. So with Michael Carrick, we have 4 defenders. We can see the 2 centre backs and the left fullback, the right fullback. Then we have our 2 midfielders, 2 our holding midfielders. Then we have our number 10 and 2 wingers, and then we have our number 9. So when Michael Carrick builds up from the back, this is what happens. Diogo Dalot, this is our right fullback. He goes up. He advances high up the pitch, and then Harry Maguire, let's just use Harry Maguire for example. Harry Maguire stretches, not Harry Maguire is often the central man, yeah? So Lenny Yoro will stretch wide, Harry Maguire coming in, and then Luke Shaw drops in, and then we now have a back 3. So Premier League teams have been embracing the man-to-man pressing system because it has been working lately against teams that try to build from the back. You just try and force those errors from the back end, maybe utilize the opportunity if you get one. So we will have a back 3, and then these 2 midfielders maintain their position. So if you have these 3 centre backs at the back, and then you've got the famous Arteta build-up where he presses with the 2 front players, let's say his number 9 and his number 10, trying to press us. So it's going to be so hard for them to for them to prevent us from playing these passes in these particular areas of the pitch, because this is their main aim, by the way, to try and prevent us from going into the midfield. So they want us to go as wide as possible. But the problem is, if we go wide, we've got Dalot higher up the pitch. So there's the person who should be pressing Lenny Yoro cannot just come straight to Lenny Yoro because he's got his eyes on Diogo Dalot. So it's going to be so hard for him to step up and press Harry Maguire. So you can find that we are against Aston Villa. If people are very keen, Harry Maguire was having so much time on the ball at the back, and Villa were not trying to press because Harry Maguire was trying to bait the press, but Villa were not showing any signs of triggering the press anytime soon, because it was going to be so hard for them to organize themselves and try to press us. And that is something that it's becoming so hard for Premier League teams, because it's so rare to see a team building with a back 3 at the back. So when you have this scenario, and then now let's say the 4-4-2, because it also moves into a 4-2-4 with the 2 players trying to press. So let's use 2 wingers. So this is going to be a number 7, and then we're going to use a number 11. So in this scenario, you remember, if this winger has to keep an eye on Diogo Dalot, so it will be hard for him to press Lenny Yoro. So when the ball goes to Lenny Yoro, and even if you're playing a zonal marking system, your number 10 has to step out. And if this ball comes in, then this channel is open, right? So it somehow will become so easy eventually. If you decide to press against Carrick, it will become so easy eventually for him to just play through the midfield and try to overload the oppositions have as much as he can, because when this happens, you'll see Diogo Dalot charging forward and Amad Diallo and Brand Mbeumo trying to coordinate those runs, Bruno trying to overload wherever the ball will be. So it will be so hard for you to come in when you're using a 4-4-2 formation, and that is why we had a decent amount of shares of possession coming up against Arsenal, same to Manchester City, because they do press with a 4-4-2 formation. Let us just finish the 4-4-2 formation. We will have two midfielders, and then so these two midfielders, their major concern also of the ball, these teams. So you can see there's a very, very popular shape that is being formed here. That diamond, you can see it. So when this happens, nobody is going to try and come in to press our three defenders. These two guys, you cannot just press them, because if that happens and you have a player like Kobe Maino on the ball who can, on a 1v1 situation, he can easily make a turn with the ball and get away from his man. So it's going to be so hard for them. So, and if this winger tries to come in, this is where the long balls come in, right? And then Matheus Cunha also drops. So remember, he carries the fullback as he goes. And then something else that also happens, that it becomes so hard for them to press us with confidence when Bruno drops in into the midfield to create this overload. Now it becomes a 3 versus 2 situation, and then now it just becomes so hard to press a 3-3 formation, because you have 3 center backs, 3 midfielders, and then our fullback has already advanced. So remember, there will be a fullback outnumbered here by Amad and Diogo Dalot. It will be so hard for you guys to turn pressure, because when that happens, we can easily go long and create a counter attack. And that happened against Manchester City, and Amad scored an offside goal. If you looked at it keenly, that goal, City tried to press man to man, and we had a chance in this particular area, because it's just so hard to try and outnumber these guys, to press them or maybe force them to cause those errors that can lead to goals. Even though we still don't have the right personalities, like Lenny Yoro is not so confident on the ball, so at times he disappoints. Our latest game against Bournemouth, yeah, he's not so confident on the ball. He cannot easily just be composed and try those risky passes. So if we have a player like Lisandro Martinez fit and Matthias De Ligt fit, if we can get those defenders that can have that level of confidence to just hold the ball and turn or maybe try those risky passes, it's going to be so hard for the opponent to try and keep up with this shape. So remember, you also the defenders at the back have to keep an eye on these other 4 players, because Ahmad is very explosive on his pace, as it is so to Dalot. Benjamin Sesko's pace is. You saw the game against Everton. The goal he scored against Everton. He passed Tarkowski like Tarkowski was walking. So this guy has got some good pace also.
Yes, he has some good pace.
Yeah.
When there was a winger with the ball,
yeah,
him and Tarkowski were trying to of course speed up, but he outpaced Tarkowski and scored.
Yeah, by a mile, by the way. He was so fast for Tarkowski.
And then there's this other tactic. Yeah. When we have the ball around here, this is what we do. I don't know, we did it to City or where.
Oh, that's a diamond. We form a certain diamond.
Cunha and Bruno.
Yeah, to try and do those excellent passes.
Cunha, Bruno, and Bruno. So yeah. Cunha and Bruno exchange passes, and when you come here, they give it to
the winger who's free now to make the run. Yeah.
And when Arsenal tried to pass the ball here. Yeah. Because from their post, they tried to possess here, and they were overloaded by these guys.
Yeah.
That cost a goal by
Mbeumo. So I'm just gonna try to explain. There's this goal that Cunha scored against Aston Villa. So when Villa tried to, after
I remember that goal.
Yeah, after Villa got the 1-1 goal, yes, and they were feeling like, we can just go out and get the goal. So now they decided to try and apply the man-to-man press. So what happened? So when this happened, Bruno had just dropped in to create that overload, yeah? And it was Bruno's pass. So this was Bruno. So Bruno came here and then Kobe Maino tucked in. So when Bruno had the ball, Cunha had all this space to just make the run behind and go to the goalkeeper and score. So it's becoming so hard, and the reason why we are leaving Cunha in those situations, you can I don't know if people realize, but you can see that there's this overload that we're trying to create with Ahmad and Dalot.
But this is so common.
Yeah, because
let me just explain it. This is so common. Yeah. When we have the ball here, let me just explain it. Yeah. So this is Dalot with the ball.
Yeah.
There's space because this other guy is trying to overload our defense. Then he leaves space, and
Dalot tries and passes the ball
to Ahmad. Yeah.
To Ahmad.
Yeah,
now, when he passes to Ahmad, he overlaps.
Yeah, he overlaps immediately after he does
overlaps,
that.
And he comes exactly here.
Yeah.
Now, when Ahmad is with the ball here, you'll think he's passing it in, but he returns it here.
Yeah.
And so Dalot has the opportunity to
cross the ball into
into the box and can score.
Yeah, so that's also another way that we create the overload on this or that. But the main reason why we are supporting Ahmad is that Ahmad is not so good on maintaining pressure. So you will realize that Cunha is often being left alone.
Yes.
And I think you most of you know why Cunha he's being left alone in this kind of scenario, because Cunha can take the ball and deal with 3 men, 1-man army, and he's so good at that. So that is why he's the one being left alone, and then we are trying to support these other guys, because Ahmad is also deadly on those runs, but he needs support. So just in case he needs a 1-2 to extend those passes, then he will have the lot for that. Then Bruno comes into these areas because he's the only one who can identify those passes. He can quickly switch play from this other side to that other side for us to do a proper counter attack, or maybe he can now try and identify Cunha like he did in the Aston Villa game. So the Aston Villa goal from Matheus Cunha came from this sort of situation. Villa decided to go for a man-to-man press, and what happened? They failed. So it's becoming so hard to press Carrick, by the way.
But I have a question. I have a question. For example, we have this guy. Where is the number 6 and the
number 6? So yeah.
So for example, we have these guys here, right?
Yeah.
And we have the ball here, and this is Bruno. Bruno, let us say this is Diallo is here. Bruno has the tendency of putting a risky pass here, and then Dalot can get it.
And,
Ahmad can get it. My question is, can Bruno Guimaraes do the same thing Bruno does if he comes to Manchester United, taking risky passes and cutting passing lanes?
Bruno Guimaraes is very good at taking risky passes. He's very good. If you look at him keenly, if you watch at his games at Newcastle, he's very good at taking those risky passes. And that is why we had said we have done a video of the advantages and the disadvantages of Guimaraes joining in, because I cannot just fathom how deadly this duo will be when Bruno has the ball and then Guimaraes also has the ability to try and pick those, because at times Bruno does not have he always does not have that enough time to scan the pitch. So when these two guys can switch play foot to foot, and then one other guy has scanned Ahmad making a run, and then you give it to Bruno Guimaraes, the passes are going to be very dangerous. They're going to be very dangerous, because Casemiro and Maino are not attacking oriented, so they are not fully confident on playing those risky passes. But when you combine the two, it will be a very deadly duo, because you cannot imagine how how eager these two will be to create spaces and create chances for their teams for their teammates to score. Yeah, so I think that's it. How Michael Carrick is overloading while building from the back. So if you can notice already, we are having an overload of 4 players in the midfield. So it's becoming so hard for teams to try and press Michael Carrick, as we were being pressed by Ruben Amorim. Though Ruben Amorim was trying to apply the things that he used to work for him in Sporting Lisbon in Premier League, and he did not just have enough time. But we might explain that in the next video, how Amorim wanted to build from the back, and the long balls and the whatever. So subscribe. This is mad.